How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be having a look at this 13-inch DC Direct Deluxe Collector's Edition Batman action figure. This is kind of kicking it old school, as in this thing is not very new, but it's something I never picked up back in the day, and I found him for almost 60 bucks on eBay, and that's actually cheaper than what he was back in the day, even when I include shipping, so I couldn't let him go. I picked him up, and now I'm going to review him for the channel, because if I didn't review it, then it didn't happen. So the packaging of this figure is really simple, really basic, but really cool, and has excellent flow. You got Batman on the front and the logo as well, and on the sides you've got more logos and stuff like that. The same thing with the very top of the box, more logos, and on the back you've got another image of the figure in front of that brick wall there, and then you've got 4 little square images in boxes of the weird looking Batarangs. Okay, well, they're not all weird. There's one that looks kind of normal, but those other 3 are just weird looking, and we'll have a closer look at them later on in the video. When you open up the front flap of the window box, you can see that Batman is clearly displayed, him and his accessories. There's no guessing because you can see the figure, you can see his extra hands, and you can see all 4 Batarangs. And on the other side, we have the action figure that's been put in a somewhat dynamic pose with an atmospheric background, and then a little write-up about Batman's origin in the bottom. After taking Batman, the action figure stand, the 2 hands, and the 4 Batarangs out of the package, this is what you get. Here's another shot on a nice yellow background to differentiate the stuff that you get in the package, minus the action figure stand. You can see 4 Batarangs and 2 extra hands. And again, we'll have a closer look at the Batarangs right now, and you'll see kind of why I think they're weird. I mean, you can see them for yourself. They're weird, right? They're weird. Having an individual look at all the accessories, you got this here Batarang here, this weird one with a big point on the end for stabbing someone in the eye. No, I'm not really sure what it's for. It kind of looks like something you'd want to tie a rope to and toss up a building or whatever. But anyway, you got that one. You got this here Batarang that, yeah, I'm not really sure what the point of that would be, where you would even tuck that away. But anyway, it looks kind of like an old video game controller for like an N64. He's got this really large, odd, frisbee-ish looking Batarang from when Batman and Robin want to take a day trip to the beach, go surfing, and toss a frisbee. He's got this here foldy Batarang, which to me is the Batarang that looks the most like a Batarang. And it's cool, it folds up, presumably so Batman can stick that thing in his utility belt. And then you've got these here hands, these gloved hands, and they're interesting because when I first saw these hands, I was like, all right, he's got open hands like this, he's got the closed fist hands that come on the body, but where are the ones for holding the Batarang? And then as I began to fiddle with these hands, I noticed, I was like, whoa, look at that. Each of the fingers is wired, so he can be like, you know, make the thumbs up, the pointy. And the thing is, it really actually does work. He really can grab the Batarang with these hands, because as you can see, the proof's in the pudding. There it is, he's holding the Batarang, and it actually holds it pretty tight. And these are actually rubber fingers, so they're going to have more grip than just, say, regular old plastic fingers. So I wouldn't want this to be the norm for most large figures, but I do think it's a very cool looking, creative way that DC Direct handled the whole, very punny, Brad, very stupidly punny. Next, the Bat figure stand is pretty self-explanatory. It's got a waist grabby. You can actually push this little clicky button and it will click into place, kind of like a window clicks into place. You got these little slots, these little tiny holes here, and if I just bring it in closer, you can see them. You see those little tiny holes? Yeah, that's pretty much how that works. It's simple, explanatory. Got a little bat on the bottom. It'll do the job just fine. So now let's take a closer look at this figure ourselves with all of its details. And I can tell you that right off the bat, there's probably nothing about this figure that I will personally make any effort to change. Whereas I definitely wanted to make changes to the Sideshow Collectibles Superman, and the Batman I sent back because it was a crappy bootleg and it had the wrong boots and everything. But even if I bought the actual Sideshow Collectibles Batman, there would be things that I would want to change about it. Whereas this one, I'm pretty happy out of the box. For one, this figure looks like it's in proper scale with the rest of itself. What I mean is, the head's not too big for the body, and I don't feel like the body is out of proportion with any other part of anything. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. The head sculpt is a generic Batman head sculpt. It could be any artist's Batman, really. It could be trying to exemplify a classic Batman or possibly a year one Batman. There really is no time frame to this because this is just your basic, classic, iconic Batman look with black and gray solid bat and pouch belt. The bat on Batman's chest is actually just imprinted onto the suit. And it's really nice, actually. I mean, I'm not afraid that it's going to rub off, but it's nice and clean. And it's that classic Bat logo. So I'm really down with that. Batman's suit is made out of a fabric that I can actually imagine a year one Batman being quite comfortable in. So I feel like the color and also the texture of the fabric is fairly accurate as well. Batman's utility belt, there's a lot of fine details in the paint and the shading in that utility belt, and they got the gold belt buckle. And if you just look around the back here, you can actually maybe see that it's on top of a leather belt itself. So it's not just solid, the pouches are solid, but then the belt itself is actually made out of leather. The suit has a zipper in the back so that you can undo it and you can see Batman's muscular body there. And I think it's neat that they've actually gone ahead and included the zipper in the suit here like that. So that's kind of cool. And then the belt itself, as you can see, and I just found out, the belt actually comes off. So, I mean, there's that. But this is definitely... this is excellent quality for DC Direct, especially back in the day when they were giving us, you know, almost in some cases, barely articulate action figure. And the belt just does up again. There's a little hole in the back there and you just pop it in there like that. And his utility belt just sits on there like that. The outside trunks are a separate piece for this Batman. You can see I can pull them like that, but they fit nice over the body itself. And then you've got the boots, and the boots here are made out of a fake leather. As you can see, they got these separate soles that have been glued on with little bat symbols on them. I like these a lot, actually. I'm not too keen on the folded over piece here in the front of the boots, but it is cool that they did include the zippers in the back so that if you so desire, you can undo it and you can take his boots off. And you can see where the costume ends at his foot there. So that's very cool. This suit is actually very easily removable. And they've really, it seems like, done a lot of work to put out a high quality suit. Oh, and then the gloves. I should probably mention this. The gloves are also a fake leather. They're a pleather there. You got the scallops on the gloves and the soft rubber hands. So again, I'm just really tickled and pleased with this figure in general. And then let's take just a moment as well to focus on the cape. The cape for this Batman figure is that's ample. That's big enough for me. All of the scallops have been sewn into the back of this cape. And it's also like a fake leather. It's like a pleather, but it's a convincing enough pleather, especially for a figure of this size. And it fits nicely over his shoulders just like that. And it sews up here around his neck. As you can see, just bringing him in closer. You can see how it sews around his neck like that. So honestly, I'm really, really happy with the overall look of this figure. Maybe I would. No, I wouldn't even alter the boots. You know what? As much as I'm not a big fan of that, I seriously wouldn't take any time to alter that. So honestly, the look of this Batman figure, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect for me. I probably won't buy the Hot Toys or Sideshow Batman. There's a new one maybe I will buy, but this one, I'm just as content to have him up on a shelf as I would be to have a more expensive one. Now, if you're wondering about this Batman's articulation, the head for this Batman's on a ball joint and it goes all around like that. Whereas I know some of these bigger ones actually don't have their heads on ball joints. I'm pretty sure some of them just go round and round on a peg swivel. The shoulders are on those hinge swivels by the looks of it. I'm not taking the costume off to see, but it looks like it would appear they're on hinge swivels. You got rotation at the bicep. You got, I'm not sure if that's single or double. I'm going to feel that and say that's double, likely double jointed elbows. Rotation at the wrist by way of, that's kind of a ball peg, sort of. You keep pulling pieces off, but again, you know what? I'll change the hands so you can see that as well. You've got, is there an ab crunch? Yep, there's a big old ab crunch here. You've got rotation at the waist. You've got your groin that can go all over the place. You got your, oh, there's a thigh cut. And you've got double jointed knees, and you're going to have ankle articulation. All right, I'll take his boot off, and we will have a little peekaroo at Batman's ankle articulation up.
It was at this moment he knew.
Well, that's a thing, ain't it? I pulled the sole of his boot off. I'm going to have to super glue that on. Hold on a second. Get the super glue. All right, Batman, I got me some LePage Gel Control super glue. Let's just stick it all over the heel of that boot. This ain't never coming off again. I promise you that. This stuff is like freaking contact cement. We'll just stick it right there on the leather, and I will go away and have a bowl of Lucky Charms, and when I come back this will be dry and it'll never come off again. Perfect.
Catch Lucky. He's got Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
I'll make a magic rope and swing away with me Lucky Charms. The crunchy old cereal with marshmallow surprises. Pink hearts, yellow moons, orange stars, green clovers, and blue diamonds. Must be delicious. Thanks.
Where are your Lucky Charms?
Right here, my friends. They're part of this good, nutritious breakfast.
Frosted Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious. They're magically delicious.
Okay, we're back. So as you can see, I've switched out the fist hands, the ones that came on the body, in favor of the open hands that are now currently on the body, or the ones with the bendy figures. And it's actually pretty simple. I mean, if you own an action figure, it's a pretty simple protocol. You just pop the other hand off and you pop the new one onto the ball peg or whatever they have. In this case, it's not really a ball peg, but it is a peg. I wouldn't call it a ball peg. And you just squeeze it on there and voila! Fist is now on the body. Pretty simple change. Pop it off, and you can then put the hand with the fingers back on the body just as easy. But it's a good time actually to pop this glove off and show you the construction of the glove. The glove is just a tube of fake leather with a little piece that sticks out like that, and the scallops, and you just pop it back on there like that, and you can pop this on here like so, and then you got it. Batman with a open hand for I don't know, for trying to look a great distance, but it's really bright. He's like, God, Betty, it's really bright out. Whoa! For practicing his judo chop. So as far as the action figure comparison, I don't really have a whole lot to compare it to. I mean, you're looking at basically what I have to compare him to. So right now, it's just my customized on the Viking body Sideshow Collectibles Superman figure, which means it's not really a Sideshow Collectibles on account of it's only the suit and the head from the Sideshow. And then on the I've also got the Super Powers Jumbo Superman figure, and he's much smaller. And then I've also got this here other customized Superman figure. It's actually the Medicom Real Action Heroes Red Sun Superman that I yoinked the suit off of and then I put on another Superman suit. This comparison's not going very well. Anyway, that's basically what I have to compare him to, which probably tells you almost nothing. But anyway, there it is. Let's just move on to the next part of the video. I suppose the question at this point is it a success at being what it appears like it is trying to be? And, you know, for me, I'd have to say in the eye of the beholder, I think so. I mean, I'm not really sure what DC Direct was trying to accomplish with this Batman figure. I mean, I don't think action figure photography was really a super popular thing like it is now when this thing was made. It seems like Instagram has gone really far in popularizing action figure photography. Before that, it seemed like there were a lot less enthusiasts of the craft. I mean, it has a lot of articulation. It really does. There's no doubt about it. However, you can also tell that some of the points are unrefined. Like the bicep swivel really does stick out like a sore thumb, and now we know not to put it in the middle of the bicep. Also, we just flat out wouldn't put any kind of fabric or leather boots on our figures anymore. We tend to gravitate towards a plastic boot that has some sort of ankle articulation that is separate from the actual boot, like separate molded pieces, rather than having a fabric boot that then covers the entire foot. I agree that the fabric boot looks kind of cool. It also looks kind of like a big rubber boot, but it doesn't look terrible. I think it's a good option if the point of this figure is to, you know, pose in some slightly kind of cool poses and then stick on a shelf. For the money I paid for this guy, I'm completely happy with him. But you know what? I'm just one guy that just got this figure that's been out for quite a long time. But I am interested to know what you think about this figure, and more importantly, do you own or have you owned this 13-inch deluxe Batman figure, and what is your experience with it? Did it begin to fall apart at the seams, or do you still have it? Do you love it, or do you just find it boring and you sold it to get something that you feel was better? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please take the time to bebop the like button so I know I'm doing something right and you're enjoying this content. And then finally, if you think you'd like to subscribe to this channel and become a super friend, join the DC squad, well, hit the subscribe button because that's free, and then doink the bell if you so desire, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have an awesomely rad super day. Take care.